We weren't going to ask Pastor about it.
No, we
So,
weren't probably really
hey,
going to tell
Pastor, is it
anybody.
all right if Candy gives me a little sloppy top, or is that against biblical principles? Hello, I'm Dan,
I'm Ken.
and this is the Dan and Can podcast. Coming back at you from last week's episode, straight into your ear holes this week. The Susan and dulcet sounds of Dan and Can, broaching topics wide and far, navigating the path and sharing our stories as we do it. So that's pretty much what this has become, hasn't it? Kind of a biography of our own lives.
I mean, that's pretty much what I envisioned in the first place was like, I would
Yeah.
even do like almost a day in the life of a deconstructed, someone deconstructing from
Yes.
Christianity. Because you know how Christians sometimes are afraid of deconstruction. They think that we want to sin. They think that we want to go do all sorts of debauchery. And we just are living very loving, kind lives, just
Yeah.
but enjoying life a lot more than we were in a lot of ways, but also engaging with society and acknowledging that there are problems in society that Jesus isn't going to come fix. We have to fix. We have to be a part of the solution.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we talked in previous episodes. It's not, in Christianity, we had the whitewash. You remember liquid paper, right?
Mm-mm.
The little tubes
Liquid
of
paper?
whiteout liquid paper.
Oh, yeah, whiteout. I still use it. I use the little wheel thing sometimes.
Yeah, but the old paintbrush ones.
Yeah, they probably still sell.
Put it back in a typewriter, try to line it back up. All right, so you kids out there that are in your 30s and young 40s, you have no idea what we're talking about. Before computers, there was word processors.
I think they know what whiteout is. I think even our kids probably could figure it out. But they've seen me kind of use something like that.
Before computers, right? Because computers made everything easy. Spell check.
Yes.
Now you can even have basic grammar fixed.
Yeah,
do you want this to say this or whatnot? And then it rechecks it all for you. So before that, we had word processors, which was a combination computer typewriter. So you had a little screen and you could type on there. Then after so many words, all of a sudden the typewriter would engage and go and type out the sentence you just typed. Then you type in another one. Then and before that was typewriters. So we'd sit there and clink, 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 clink. Oh no. Manually roll it up a little bit, rub a little white on there, blow on it, dry it, roll it back down. Hopefully you got it lined back up. If you had a good typewriter, you could count the clicks that you'd roll it up. 1, 2, 3, 8 clicks. Okay. And then you'd white it out, go back down 8 clicks, and it'd be almost perfect.
Well, my mom, she did a side job for a while where she would type. She's a very fast typer, and she would type for I don't know who it was for. She'd type all this gibberish. I don't remember it being like coherent words, but maybe it was. And I would rub her shoulders. I'd go behind her and rub her shoulders.
Transcribe and speaking in tongues.
No, it wasn't Christian related, but she would sit there and type for hours, and I'd try to read what it said, but she had a fancy typewriter that had whiteout thing in it, so she could push backspace and it would delete it.
Maybe it was stenography that she was doing, because they use a shorthand, court reporters and whatnot.
Oh, maybe.
So they don't.
I'll have to ask her what that was.
They don't type out full words. They have a smaller keyboard and everything. They use shorthand. It's almost like a new language that they have to learn. That they can.
Yeah, I remember there being a lot of strange characters too sometimes.
Maybe your mom.
Maybe I'm just imagining that. She wasn't a Russian spy. I don't know who she was typing for, but it was some little side business because she worked full time too, and then she'd come home and she'd have to get on the typewriter and type because she,
Did you ever have to change the ribbon on your typewriter?
Mm-hmm.
What
Get
a
all ink all
mess.
over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Just
messy. It
open
was
ink
messy.
ribbons that and you'd turn on your fingers, we'd all be black and red and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And, ugh. Then anything you touched for an hour afterwards would get stained with ink.
And your hands would be so stained, and I hated that because I don't like my hands to have like markings on them at all. I like them to be clean looking, and
But it
yeah,
was always great because in school it was always you have to have a handwritten report turned in, and it needs to be 2 to 3 pages handwritten or one page typed.
double spaced.
Yeah. Oh, nowadays these people they can set out their font size and their spacing, so then it spreads it out and it gives you a little bit of font size, so you gain an extra
Oh,
line per page. Yeah.
and it's just really that's kind of pointless because it should be about what you're writing, the
Hmm.
value that you're bringing in your writing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the metric being.
Yeah.
I understand why they had to do that because some
Well,
people would turn in one sentence,
think about
if that.
mine and your personality. You don't lack for an economy of words when you're speaking. You speak like a writer. You try to paint the picture vividly, lots of descriptives, emotional, just everything's built into it. So if you were to give a speech, you might take 15, 20 minutes on it. Now, if I were to give a speech on the same exact topic, 5.
You're gonna go, hey, we all know the deal.
Bullet
Here
point,
it is.
bullet point, bullet point, bullet point.
But bullet points are nice too. I'll give you that.
But
But
there's
yeah.
no elaborate. Because I remember when I was the manager at the grocery store, we had it was some new orientation, might have been a harassment thing or some HR thing before we had HR personnel in our store. So all the managers had to take turns. So it was rotating between the three of us that were managers. And the first guy went in and did it, and it was an hour long. And all these people walked out to like, then I was number 2 to do one. So I come in the next day and do my group. And everyone starts leaving. I walk by one of the other, another one of the assistant managers that wasn't leading these. He looks at his watch and goes, 15 minutes? I go, yeah, we covered everything. Got it in, got it out. No questions, we're done. He's like, I'm coming to yours when you do your next one.
Yeah, and it honestly, it really does depend on the subject that's being talked about, what you want. You know, like if it's something that can be somewhat enjoyable, entertaining with the stories or whatever, that's one thing. But if it's the boring stuff that actually everybody already knows, I want bullet points. I want you to get right to the point. I do not want you to talk about it very much. Just tell me what to do, what you're expecting, what is it, whatever it is that you think I don't know, because I probably already, you know what I'm saying? Those boring meetings that they have at work, like 9 to 5s, you have them.
Oh, yeah. Every now and then we have them, and it's just like, get to the point. This is painful.
Yeah. And then you have, I mean, I understand. I am appreciative for some people that ask. There are some questions that they'll ask.
Yeah.
But then you'll have some people that are just trying to stall. And you're just like, I have so much work to do.
Well, they
Come
don't
on.
want to
I
get
do not
back
want to
to
sit in this
work.
dumb meeting. Yeah, exactly. So they're trying to stall. They want to just keep chit chatting, you know? And so they're asking things. It's like, I understand if you genuinely have these questions, but these are questions that a lot of us know the answer to, and we're wasting our day because it's going to push us off later. You know, that's how I would sometimes, like it or not, that's how I would act sometimes about people doing that. I didn't like it when they would do that. I'm like, come on, let's just get done. Because it was like, it wasn't work that you're leaving at the end of, you have to finish whatever the task is. You know what I'm saying? And so you're not leaving until whatever your jobs were that day are done.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That kind of work where they stall. Now, if you're getting paid by the hour, then fine. I'll sit there all day while you're asking your questions because you're going to pay me regardless. All right, fine. You're just not going to get anything else out of me. This is why I don't work a 9 to 5. Just kidding.
This is why I shit at work, because you're going to pay me for that.
Stop it. Isn't that something somebody said?
Yeah. You spend,
there's probably places that don't want people to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah.
You have to clock out if you're going to do that. I bet you there's jobs that do that.
Oh, I'm sure. There's probably some, yeah. But
well, if it's being taken advantage of, I can get it. Okay. If somebody's going in there for an hour every hour, you know what I'm saying? Like, That's you pushing it, buddy.
Well, you are pushing it.
But are you? Or are you just sitting there acting like you're pushing it?
Well, it depends on how you feel. Like last week, we were recording the day after my little food poisoning incident. I had to be in there every 15
Your
minutes.
food poisoning? Yeah, you did. Well, that's different. That would be if someone was food poisoned, they had to use the restroom quite often. That you're not doing that every day though, day in, day out. I'm talking about someone who's like always going to the bathroom. They're not really getting their work done. I don't know. I mean, you can see a problem with that. If I at some point hire somebody to help with something, I expect them, I'm not going to probably do an hour. I would pay them by task. I don't know. And then it's got to be fair for them. I think you got to pay fairly for sure. But you also, as an employee, you got to be, I don't know, as an employee, you still should be a good worker.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but you know what I'm saying? You're getting paid. Yeah. If you're getting paid decently and you're treated well, yeah.
Yeah.
Show Anyways, it.
We really went on a side tangent.
Oh, who cares? Who cares?
Go back. Do you have any would you rathers this week for us?
No, I don't.
Atta girl. That's what we got blindsided this week. Usually we record would be tomorrow night. And then our son's coach was like, oh, by the way, there's another wrestling duel on Tuesday this week. So we're recording on a Monday.
Yeah.
So, a little out of pocket. So this might be have a little different feel, but that's good, especially for all you ADHDers out there. A little change of pace, something new coming out. So, well, let me see if I can think of appropriate would you rather. Okay. Would you rather have had the premarital experience of having many boyfriends?
I did have boyfriends. You mean like having sex?
Well, not necessarily sex, but certain restrictions inhibited by other things, and then having to explain that to your future husband and talk to them to that? Or would you rather have had the experience that you had where you were brought up in strict, fearful?
You mean would I rather have had a high body count or the low body count that I
had? Basically. If you want to boil it down, I'm trying to be politically correct here.
I know, and I'll just say it like it is. I'll be candid, Dan. I will say that there are, that's messy. I don't like the shame that was given to me because of how I was brought up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That evangelical Christianity did with like purity culture and stuff. I don't like that because I don't deal with shame so much anymore, but I'm still like, I still struggle to be in my body sometimes. I still struggle. There's still some stuff I'm working through, right? Because I think it's just it messes you up pretty good.
Mm.
But also, if I hadn't done it that way, and if I was just like dating a lot of guys, I don't know that I would have landed on you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I would have,
like,
not that I wouldn't have picked you.
You ain't no good, boy. I know what's out there.
No, that's not true. No, but who knows where I would have been. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that we would have found each other. So I can't say that I don't want to do that, but what I wouldn't do to my children is do purity culture, because then they can they won't know what they didn't know, and they'll land on somebody that they want to spend their life with if they choose to do so, because they want to. And I don't know. That's just, I wouldn't have rather. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't think it's I'm okay with what happened. I'm just living with it, obviously. But I do think purity culture causes a lot of problems.
Oh, definitely.
So that's what I would not wish on anybody.
Yes. So Do you have any would you rathers that spawned out in that? Yes, no, maybe so.
I mean, it's not, if I sat here and thought I could,
Okay.
would you rather be trapped in a room with your, oh, you didn't have a youth group leader. Would you rather be trapped in a room with a priest that had a
Careful.
history? Do you know any priests that had a history, if you know what I mean?
Not that I can think of offhand.
None?
Uh-uh.
Huh. Well, good on you. Would you rather be stuck? Would you rather leave your child? Here we go. Would you rather leave your child with a pastor, or would you rather leave your child? I was going to say Donald Trump. I ain't leaving my kid with that guy either. I am not leaving my child. I would just have no children. I mean, that's crazy. Those two options are awful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll tone it down a bit. Not DJT, but instead Vance. For 1 hour. The vice president.
Probably be able to give him good makeup tips. Youth pastor probably teach him how to do frosted tips.
Because I don't think he's probably... He hasn't been accused of anything, as far as I know.
By couches and love seats.
Yeah, the couches wouldn't be safe. But your kid might be if you had to leave him for 1 hour. Just 1 hour.
Yeah.
But he would probably indoctrinate him with his, like...
You would try
and the pastor's random. The pastor's random. You don't know what you're getting. You could get a good one.
Yeah.
You could get a bad one. That's a risk.
You'd have to go with the pastor, especially knowing my kids and their mindsets.
No, but it's your kid when they're like 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is enough that I could deprogram after an hour pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm just concerned. It's not so much the programming, though the programming would be bad. In an hour, it wouldn't. I mean, you could work through that. But I'm talking like, some of these pastors have been accused of.
Yeah. Yeah, but that takes a long time and builds up trust and security and all that. It's the grooming process where you can't you can't say this to anyone, otherwise your parents will be upset with you. You have to have some level of trust.
Well, they were accusing. Remember, they were accusing like the drag queen story hour group, wherever these were being held, as grooming. But it's like people have no idea what grooming is. Grooming was like, you got to get a kid by themselves.
Yeah.
No parents around. You got to get them to trust you. You might use the parents at first to get the trust there, but then you kind of groom them to be like, let you be alone with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
The story hour thing didn't have that opportunities for that kind of stuff.
No, you didn't have the time.
It was, it's just, that's not what it was about either, because they weren't grooming.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah. In that case, I think it'd be safer with the pastor, because if you did DJT, he's the one that's setting up these events.
I would never.
Instant.
I'd pick a pastor over DJT for sure. And I don't like pastors at all. Like, I would never want to leave my kid alone with a pastor. DJT would be the worst, I think.
Yeah, because his past and what he did in these parties that they had.
Mm-hmm.
That was just instantaneous. There was no need for grooming or anything like that, because it was just there.
I think they did do some. They didn't like groom necessarily. I mean, if those stories from that Riley guy are true, like he did some.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They didn't need time to build up this. They just needed money.
Did just nasty stuff, like to shock a kid into obedience. And
Yeah. So
if it's true, I don't know. But anyways.
So, all right. So our topic today, being that this Saturday coming up is the day of Amore.
I knew it.
The love day. Valentine's Day, where everyone manufactures false love. people that haven't had a chance to express themselves all year long overindulge, overdo it, and show baseless acts of love to their partners that they've neglected for 364 days.
That's kind of true. And
Yeah.
not everyone, because some people, they like, oh, it's just a fun day to that's definitely. But there are a lot of people on Valentine's Day that are.
Yeah. And we've talked about that
It's
in past
forced on 'em.
episodes, your previous work experience in the floral, dealing with guys calling in and I need to order two arrangements. I need to get $250 rose arrangement for this one. And then for my wife, I need to get this $10 cash and carry thing. And don't get them mixed up. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
So tempted that. Yeah. I had more than one time when it was a guy getting two, or more than two. And it wasn't for his daughters or friend, it was girlfriends and stuff. A wife usually involved. But I do remember one specifically where the wife got something really small, like 3 roses, and the girlfriend got like a dozen, maybe even 2 dozen.
Mm-hmm.
And I so bad wanted to switch the cards around and get them to the different place. But then I thought it's not my place to be doing that. But
yeah, it's just showing the greatness of humanity. But, irregardless of what this holiday is, because, we kind of celebrate it. We just use it as sometime around this time of year, we'll take a little brief alone time together. Just because we don't get it that often. Our kids, as we've said, are successful at cock blocking us at every moment they get.
I've learned that this is like what teenagers, I've learned like it's a common thing that people talk about. It's harder to have time alone with teenagers. It seems like in your house.
Yes.
It is harder for that than when they're little sometimes.
And our kids freely admit it. Well, we'll talk about this for a minute before we get into the purity culture bullshit. Our kids have said, yes, we purposely are trying to cock block you guys because we don't want anything happening. So what happens is one of our daughters that doesn't live here anymore comes home every weeknight and picks up the other daughter to go to the gym. But she makes sure that she doesn't use any other bathroom in the house except for the one that's connected to our bedroom. So we know every night that she's going to walk in through our bedroom at some time. And
if the door was locked, she'd be like, what's going on in there? What are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing, guys? Yeah. And it would ruin the mood in a heartbeat. For me, you would probably be like, just ignore it. It's fine.
I don't hear
We're
anything.
Fine. Leave us alone.
I don't hear anything. It's your imagination.
That's probably true. I can hear the smallest thing.
Put your earbuds in. It's good.
My God.
And then when they do finally leave, just for insurance, they bring the dog in and throw that on our bed so that she makes sure nothing happens. Because
they tuck the dog in, get her all comfortable.
If you go and hug someone in our house, the dog starts barking and yelping like no other.
Yeah.
So she'll prevent any sort of contact between people. And the weekends aren't much better because the same daughter stays over late every Sunday or Saturday knowing that she could walk in anytime because before she leaves, she's got to use the bathroom in our room again. So she walks through. And she has to make her final curtain call with mom in bed. So she has to come into our bedroom and say goodbye and crack a couple jokes. And
I wonder if they are intentional in all ways or is it sometimes it's unintentional? They just think mom and dad don't really do that.
Well, they've said as much as no.
They have said this part. Yes, they have said that they do use it sometimes. They are using it. They're doing it intentionally. Yeah. But are they always? I don't know.
So anyways, mom and dad this time of year try to find a little excursion to get away for 20 minutes.
Oh, God.
No, night, usually an overnight stay or something like that. Not necessarily at Valentine's Day, but we honestly, in our relationship, try to focus on expressing love and appreciation on the day.
Just a little romance. We don't get romance very often, so that's really what we use it for. Yeah.
So In the holiday itself, just from where we've experienced through work and everything else, we've seen how much it is actually manufactured and just capitalistic. Um, rose
Oh yeah.
prices, rose prices, turning the, you can buy a dozen roses. I don't even know how much they cost anymore, but at the time we were doing it, you could buy a dozen roses for $25 in
Mm-hmm.
December. But right there at the beginning of January, all of a sudden that price goes up to 35.
70. It was
And
last when
then,
I was working, it was 70, 80.
yeah,
I don't know what it is now,
but
but
the markup goes up 3, 4 times by the time Valentine's Day comes around.
yep.
And it's ridiculous. And that's just the case with everything that's related to it. Shoot the price up. Guys are desperate. They want to have something there. And if you can come up with something unique, holy shit, hold on. You could charge whatever you want for that.
Well, yeah. And sometimes these people are these like if the women are working in an office, gifts are coming in for certain women, and you don't want, a lot of these guys don't want their wife or girlfriend to be the one that doesn't get, or get something small and everybody else gets something big, because either because they really care about how she feels and they do want her to feel just as special as anybody else, or they feel like she's going to say something and then that's going to bother them or whatever. So it could be for childish reasons or it could be for grown-up reasons. But the pressure to push them into just spending like crazy. And then you have to set reservations to go to a restaurant. Like sometimes, people are expecting something, they expect, I guess you could say from like a stereotype would be the women we were expecting to be wined and dined and the guys are expecting to get sex.
Yeah.
That's basically, and if he doesn't wine and dine right, he's not going to get sex or he's not going to get, what he really wants, and she's not going to give him what she wants if he doesn't give her what she wants. Is that making sense? Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So, and that's not always the case. I'm not saying that's what's really going on all the time, because I think I think neither needs to be blamed. Not men, not women. I think it's the stupid systems once again putting this pressure on people to spend a lot of money when you don't really have to. We have had Valentine's Day that are very low key, but feel very loving and very,
when you were working
without
floral,
a lot of flash.
It was just a day that you wanted to get home and just crash.
Oh yeah.
Because
I hated it when I was in floral. I just was like, this is a disgusting day. It's disgusting because it's like, I would feel so bad for the guys coming in. I just felt bad for them because, and they're trying to pick up, they do care a lot of times. They have not been taught how to really love. They have not been taught how to show love. They have been taught like you pacify this woman so that you can get, it becomes very transactional. And it's not because the guys are terrible. It's because what they've been programmed with. And I know that sounds.
No, it's true because.
Yeah, it is. But a lot of people today would be like, don't make it, it is men, but it's really not. Men have been programmed and they're being programmed now to be more chauvinistic, more misogynistic, more sexist.
Society where it's going of what's grabbing young men's attention, because for the longest time, what was your education? It was television, magazines, your friend group. This is how you do it. So you start seeing on TV, okay, oh, look, this, in this sitcom, we're going out to a special dinner and chaos ensues. You get the table by the door or by the bathroom or whatever, and the woman's all upset and pissed off because you didn't plan it well enough. And you got the shitty seats in the restaurant. You didn't get the tickets to the show or whatever it is. So, but okay, that's what we need to do. Or it's lay out all the rose petals around the bed and have everything prepped and ready to go, and just grand gestures of romanticism that are planned. Get the horse-drawn carriage to go around or whatever.
And some of these people have not done any romance all year long. And all of a sudden they're just mimicking what they've seen. Like, I gotta be romantic. This is romantic. Instead of knowing their partner, what is romantic to that partner, because romance is very subjective to your partner, right? It's unique to what they like. Like, what would they like? Do they want to even go to a crowded restaurant?
Yeah.
Do they want to go to, a opera, or do they want something a little more chill? Do they want something they want to be thought of? I think that's the biggest thing for me when it comes to romance. Like, if we just talk about romance, to me, I want to know that you thought about me. You thought about what I like. You thought about what would feel comfortable to me or feel good to me, and not just this is what you do. And this is what I want either,
And that's what you're constantly being told. Because there's been times where even Christmas or birthday, I'll be like, my parents or someone, what'd you get candy for? And I'll say, oh, I got her, whatever it may be. And it may be something that's completely off the radar, insignificant, doesn't seem like, but it's something you really, really wanted. And my parents are like, oh, okay.
Because it doesn't
they don't
fit
know this societal norm of this is
yes.
an elaborate
Your
gift.
Parents, remember when we first got together, you would buy me jewelry all the time. And I'm not I do like jewelry. Don't get me wrong. I like jewelry, but I don't need it to be like real stuff. My wedding ring, I definitely want. But I don't, because I lose things. Let's be honest. I have lost, like, I was even asking you got me garnet earrings one time, and I was like, where are those today? I have no idea. They're gone. And they were I would wear those today. If I had them, I would wear them. They're gone. You got me some pearl earrings. You got me an emerald necklace. It was beautiful. Gone. Just gone. Gone are these things, and it's just like, I don't need that kind of stuff. Costume jewelry is fine, and I would just pick it out myself. So when you were doing that, that's what your dad does for your mom. She buys her jewelry. We don't go to places. I mean, I wear jewelry, but I don't need like that fancy jewelry very often. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it doesn't work for me.
No. So a lot of it's just getting to know your partner and what they're into.
Yeah.
And that's all right, because it may not fit into the mold of everything else, but it means everything to them.
Yeah.
So,
they feel seen.
Yeah. So, just like your birthday, you got a bunch of books and you got a Zen garden, and people be like, we know people that be like, okay, really?
Be like, do you guys even care about her?
But I'm appreciated that.
I liked it.
Because it spoke to something that you're into really big right now, and on both of them. So you're like, all right, perfect. That's great. And I like it, and it meant more to you because it was custom towards you. So, Valentine's Day, just so many people just get bought into that commercialism. And this is what has to be: get the flowers, get the dinner, get the hotel booked, get the show tickets. And this is what you do. And it's not customized. I mean, some of that can be, hey, we're going to do this dinner that meant something to us, and you love this place, and we're going to a show that you really wanted to see, and blah, blah, blah. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's custom to.
Yes. If that's what works for you, do it. Yeah. For sure. Yes.
But if it's not, because, we've done things where it's just been like, let's, had a hotel room and just like, let's just DoorDash, because we really don't want to go out and fight. The last thing I want to do, and I think the last thing you want to do, is go out to dinner somewhere on Valentine's, especially this year. It's a Saturday night.
I do not like crowded play. I do not. Yeah. I think because I'm so sensitive to energy, when you get in too big of a crowd, I don't like it, because I feel very drained because I'm picking up on all this stuff, and it's exhausting. So that is the last thing I would want to do, is
this year being on a Saturday
restaurant
night would be a nightmare.
Oh God, no.
That would be a nightmare to figure that out, and just be Cheesecake Factory in where you're, hey, how you doing? And you have to squeeze in because the people you don't know are touching elbows with you if you don't, because they're so damn close.
Yeah. So, I would love, like, I know we don't do polls very often, and we don't get really big responses to it, but that's interesting. Like, who likes the seats in Cheesecake Factory where you were sitting 6 inches from the table next to you? I don't know if it's in all the Cheesecake Factories or if it's just the one in Omaha, but it is awful.
Yeah. So, But yeah, that's our Valentine's. We don't celebrate it really on the day. Kind of say I said happy VD.
You usually say happy V Day, yeah. Or VD. Yeah, you do
Yeah.
do VD a lot. And I'm like, really?
And then
Better not have that, Dan.
we usually just kind of plan something one of the weekends before or after and get the discounts. We're thrifty.
So, if you want discounts on flowers, guys, if you
February
could work it
15th.
out with your partner, I know they're like, ain't I worth it? But I'm going to tell you, like, especially like some of those flowers are sad looking that they get, even if you've ordered in advance, it depends on what the weather does because they're sitting in these semi trucks, and it's cold. And if they're in these coolers, but if it goes outside and gets shocked at all, it's drooping. It's not going to come back. It's just, you're going to get floppy flowers and that's going to look terrible. And I've seen guys come up to pay for it and it's just like this bunch of like flowers just drooping over. And I'm like, no, you're not going to give your wife or your girlfriend this. You're not doing that. So we're going to go find some fresher looking ones. And they're so appreciative, usually, like, and then sometimes they're like, no, I don't care. I don't care. And I'm like, okay. She probably should move along from you
Christian
if you don't even care.
That are teaching marriage classes come up with a dozen floppy carnations and be like, no, these are perfect. If you know, folks. You'll have
She's
to go
gonna
back
like
and find
it.
that.
Yeah.
So that's our Valentine's Day. But with Valentine's Day being around here, let's spend 20 minutes or so just kind of talking about purity culture and how much havoc it's wreaked in just life after. And we talked about it before on purity culture on how it's the switch. And it's really most of purity culture, and I think you'd agree with this, maybe 85% of it's geared towards women or enforced against women.
Yeah.
Men get about 15% of it. It's kind of a, well, at least you're not gay type response from the
I think men, they're
like
more, if they were to have sex before marriage, it's just, it reassures, as long as it's not too much. I mean, maybe if it even was too much, I don't know how they would determine that.
What was she wearing?
Yeah, boy, they'll come up with all sorts of reasons
but think about
men.
the purity culture too. If a 15-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl in the church had sex, what's the first thing that's going to be happen? What did you do to entice him?
Oh,
you know he's not capable. He is a man, and they have certain needs and desires, and he's learning that. You did something to bring this on, and you're the trollop that started it all. Almost, I guarantee 100% of the time in churches, that's what's going to be.
Well, I mean, even in church, like, you're told, like, as girls, we were told, like, we need to be careful how we dressed around, like, adult men.
Yeah.
Because they were what? Pervs?
Yeah.
So you kind of got this message at a young age that all these men were just lusting after you all the time. That's really what you kind of thought.
I think I showed it to you. There was a TikTok of a pastor talking about beachwear. And he's up there and he's just going off. And he's like, you got that bikinis coming out here and there's barely any material on them anymore. And you got that little string going up your butt crack and booty cheeks are hanging out. And then he goes, licks his lips. He's like, and then booty cheeks are just all out for everyone to see and all this. People are like, this pastor, I think, has got issues himself if he can't control himself.
Really.
It's this
I
whole idea.
I do remember you vaguely sending that to me. Yeah. He was talking about booty cheeks. Yeah. And, I don't remember if I remember the licking of the lips, but that's quite disgusting.
Because people called him out on that. It's like, why did he lick his lips in there? It's like, but,
and like, if you're married to him, I'd be so like, I don't know how these women stay with some of these men.
So it's self-control, and it's not allowing self-control with the men. And we've talked about this. I don't want to get into it too much, but it puts the blame strictly on the women. Well, you were wearing something skimpy. You bent over and a little bit of your underwear showed. And what was he supposed to think? It's like, Well, tell them stop looking at me when I'm bending over all the time then.
Yeah.
Or, hey, every now and then a woman's underwear may be exposed. That's going to happen. Or a bra strap
Yeah.
may come out from underneath the dress.
Just turn your eyes if it
Yeah.
bothers you, you know?
And do something to, that's all right. It's clothes. Just because it covers something
Well,
doesn't
and
mean
what's
anything.
funny is Jesus even said, like, if your right eye causes you to sin, he's talking to men about lust, like pluck out your eye, basically cut off your hand, pluck out your eye. He doesn't say, tell them to cover themselves up. He doesn't say that.
All right. A little technical difficulty there. I got a little excited and pulled my cord, but we got her all going again. So what I was saying was we got a couple things we need to work on. We were talking a few weeks ago about Dante's Inferno and how we were going to rewrite that to be a deconstructionist inferno and coming out of the pits of hell. Well, a new one here is to rewrite some of these lessons of Jesus and his Beatitudes and teach it like what's really being taught in the church. So if you're man and your right eye causes you to sin, you need to cast that woman into the lake of fire. Because she caused you your right eye to sin.
They'd be all for that. Do not even say something like that. They would be all for that. That woman deserves to go to hell because she caused me to sin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going to teach it as what they really mean by.
Yeah, that's what they really mean.
You do a
they
compare and
mean,
contrast.
yeah,
This is what this teaching
eye,
is saying: to take responsibility for your actions and hold yourself accountable. What Christianity teaches is blame someone else for your sins to make sure that they are punished for causing you
pretty
to
much.
stumble.
Or it's somebody else's fault that you're sinning. It's not your fault. It's the devil, and the devil might be in that woman.
It's not
and the devil might, it's never. Women don't get to use that excuse though. They don't get to use the excuse that the man caused them to sin ever. I'm trying to think of any time a woman gets to say that the man caused her to stumble. It doesn't happen.
Well, when he's not fulfilling his role,
it's always her fault.
The spiritual leader, and then she has to step up and assume that role. Then it's his fault that he didn't take his responsibility.
Oh yeah. If she acts like she has any, if she acts like me, basically, if she has any opinions whatsoever, if she, you're at fault there. You're at fault there. You've caused me to get in a position where I think I have any say in anything. So that is your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something we can work on here. But so yeah, in purity culture, you see this dynamic that's happening and going on, but it's caused a lot of other issues. And I think in post deconstruction is kind of where I want to focus here now for the last few minutes of issues that it causes, because it sets so many people up, as we found in our own discovery, for failure. Right? Because that light switch. No, up until the point that you say I do, and then flip the switch, and now you're a freak in the sheets and a lady in the streets, right? As our daughter would say. But it doesn't work that way, because that's not how the subconscious works. You've programmed your subconscious up to this point with fear and blocks. This is
shame
bad
around anything to do with your body. Your body is shameful. Your body is a lure, basically something that's going to trap men, and if you use it in any way, in any sexual way, it's considered wrong. And so when you get with your husband, that doesn't shut off.
Yeah.
You can't just ignore it. You can't just that's because they don't understand subconscious programming at all. They think it's just something you're choosing, and then you're going to, oh, now I'm free to just, that's not how it works. You have tons of programming going on, a very deep, strong running program of shame.
But then the other thing
around
too
sexuality
is the light switch is different. The light switch was different from me than from you. When I flip that switch, now it's full game on. I can finally experience what I've built to do, right? Because this is what a man is built to do. A man's built to breed. He's built to, that's all he wants.
A man wants sex. He's been wanting it this whole time.
Yeah.
His body is, ready to go. He wants her, and she's supposed to perform, basically, make him happy, please him in this moment.
And the woman's is flipped on to be, Now it's okay to do this, and it's a service to my man.
Mm-hmm.
And don't enjoy it.
And then
Because,
men get mad at women when women treat it as a duty
yeah,
because they've been programmed that it is their duty. They've been
yeah,
programmed that it is a job they must perform. They've been programmed that they must perform for their husband, make him happy, whatever it is, you know. And so
yeah,
it's wrong that then they get blamed when they feel and treat it like that because
yeah.
that's what it has
Which
been
is a double,
programmed as.
that's a mind fucking in and of itself there, too. Because the man's sitting here saying, I don't want it to be a duty for you. I want you to want to do this. But
And they can't figure out why the women do that. Yeah.
also, if you don't want to do this, I want to make sure that you have to do this
Yeah.
because I have my needs to performed.
Or I'm going to cheat, or you're going to be at fault for me cheating.
Yeah,
You know, so a woman obviously doesn't want her husband to cheat. So then she will do it because she's like, I have to keep him happy and satisfied. And then there's not as much connection because she is doing it out of duty. She is doing it
yeah,
because she feels like, and also she's expected to be this perfect mom, perfect housekeeper, she's expected to be perfect, honestly.
yeah.
And to keep that standard, and then somebody else, like when you have little children, like I've been talking to someone who has little children, and I remember this. The constant touch of the little children. I need this. I need this. They're constantly on you, wanting something from you. There's constant touch, 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 touch. You get touched out. And then you get in bed and your husband wants to touch you. And it's just like, oh my God, you're making my skin crawl. And it's not because it's the husband, but he's taking it personally, which I get. But it's like you're just been touched and touched and touched and touched. And it's
Yeah.
like, I just don't wanna have to give anymore. I don't have anything else to give to you. And then you muster it up and you do it. I've been there where I do it because
Well, thank
I
you for
wanted to
that.
keep you happy. I didn't wanna have you in a bad mood. What?
You're
Then you say,
making me
"What?"
sound you're making me sound like such a
No,
great guy.
I mean, because we were no,
No, I
and we
know,
were
I know.
evangelical Christians trying to
It's
it's not
like,
that you would have wanted it that
oh,
way.
he was gonna cause so much
You wouldn't have
problems
been
if he.
no, no. My concern mostly it was not because you would treat me poorly. You might get irritable, because that's just sexual tension that's not, getting released.
Yeah,
That makes I understand that. But mine was more that, I didn't want
yeah,
you to be in a mood, but and it also makes me feel better. It makes me feel there is a connection that happens during that where you
hmm,
feel connected if it's good sex. If it's just like duty sex, it feels like you're getting used. It feels like your body is being used. And then that's just what it feels like. It feels like it's just another thing you gotta use your body, like, "Here, take it, you can use it for a little bit, and then
yeah,
it's mine," but it's never really mine, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, it's I don't know where I was going with that, like, the frustration that I think both parties and we are obviously just talking about straight sex because that's what we know, but I know this applies. I don't know that it's the same. In a same sex, it's gonna be different because the programming is different, right?
hmm,
There's also other dynamics going on there that are different, but in a same sex or in a straight or a hetero relationship, a lot of times you can have just this sense of, like we've said, the duty that the woman feels, and the
hmm,
man and the woman both want connection.
yeah,
They want connection. They do want that, but it
yeah,
does take conversation, which a lot of men sometimes do not wanna do. They feel
yeah,
like they're owed something if they do that, instead of that the communication can actually bring some intimacy
yeah,
that they didn't weren't expecting. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
So, I don't know. It's just they've
yeah.
programmed men to just want sex and think that's all about sex, and women just to want, like, this emotional connection.
Well,
But men want emotional connection, and women want sex too.
and the issue with that is that and I know a lot of guys that are like this, where it's just I need to get my nut, and that's the whole mission of it. So they don't care if it's two pumps and done. That was great. It's over. That's all that was needed. I needed to get that out, clear it up, and all that, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys like that, and they don't take the time to consider because one, it's always been taught too that this is a woman's duty. The man wants it. Women, you're really not going to want it. I mean, how many times did that lesson come across to you? It's not something you really want. It's
No, and then if you do
and
want it, you feel shame for it.
yeah,
So that's a difficult thing
and then
still to
you
me.
tie that with everything else in is that if you do
Mhm.
want it, then there's that stigma that's tied onto it of, well, now you're a
What
loose
kind of woman
woman.
are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of
It's
woman?
I mean, there's words for it, like a dirty person or
Yeah,
there's a
I
lot
mean,
of things that are
yeah,
attached to it that you don't like. So it's
yeah.
yeah. And
So,
they know that. They know when they're programming. I think
yeah.
some of these people are fully aware what they're doing.
So then you have that, and the guy thinking that, well, this is all I need. So as long as I'm done, I'm done. So I know what's going to take to get me done really quick. So boom, bada bing, bada boom, and we're not worrying about anything else. So then a lot of women never enjoy it because they never get to that point of enjoying it because
Mhm.
their stimulation is completely different. Their biology is built completely different, where it takes a little bit of prep and pre-game stretching and just warming
Well,
up
and
and all
it's
that.
not like, it doesn't help that the movies show, a woman turning on just like that. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying that never happens,
yeah.
but it's just
Well,
I think
yeah,
if I'm talking for myself, which is all I can talk from, but I do know other women that feel the same way, is I want to feel safe. I do
yeah.
not want to feel unsafe. I'm not going to be able to, and knowing the nervous system and how when you're in an intimate situation like that, you are in your dorsal vagal, which is like your most prehistoric part of your nervous system, right? It's like shut down, but now you're in a shutdown where you're you're in it in a safe environment. You go into it when you're sleeping, but when you're alert to go into it intentionally, you need to feel very safe.
Hmm.
It's because you're going to be very vulnerable.
Hmm.
You're not like in fight flight. So, but you've got women that are in fight flight and
Hmm.
trying to have like consensual sex, and it's not great
No,
because they don't feel safe. You know what I'm saying?
no.
But they think that they have to do this.
And then
And
you have them women that are just praying to themselves, saying prayers to get through it, and all they're really concerned about is, okay, finish, so
Mhm.
that we can be done with this because nothing's going to happen with me because nothing was done to prepare me for this or
Well,
to,
or they're like me and didn't even know that it was possible for a woman to
yeah,
um like I didn't know that was a thing.
until you
I didn't know that
did.
till it happened the first time. I was like, "What the hell is happening? I don't know what this is."
But I like it. How does this do it again?
Carry on. You're so funny.
Again. So, but honestly, there's a lot of guys that wouldn't really even care about it. I mean, you could probably think of a couple, and our list would probably combine and have a lot of same people that the dude's like, what? No, no. Why would I
Like
do that? Why would we do
she has
that?
needs. Yeah.
Why would we do anything like that? And I think a lot of it, and we'll get into this part of it too. I think men are pretty easy to figure out. You just
I think
kind
they're a
of,
lot more simple.
yeah,
Yeah.
little friction and the job's done.
Yeah.
But women are a little more complicated. There's different parts and buttons and
We're talking very general here, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
different
In
buttons and
general terms, maybe. I don't know if
knobs
these are
and
just stereotypes
levers.
and this is stuff that's been I don't know if it's true, but it does seem to be true from our
Yeah,
point of view. With the people
yeah,
we've talked to, our own experiences,
yeah.
yes. But I don't know if it's always true.
But again, like with menopause, the stuff is not historically been talked about a lot.
Mhm.
So we haven't explored, and the education hasn't been put out for men to understand, hey, if you do this, or if you concentrate on this, or this doesn't, and this doesn't work, one thing doesn't work for all women. Otherwise, I'd be out here writing the best selling book of all time, but hey, try this, or try this, or try this, and see what works because different things will have different effects. But that information, I think now it's starting to come out a little bit more as women are getting more empowered and boldened and vocal about, hey, we don't know enough
Yeah.
about our own bodies. We need to start studying this and understanding it and what's going on here. So more things are coming out and
Mhm.
that are understood. And it's getting to be a little more accepting for a woman to be like, no, that's all right. I can enjoy pleasure
Well,
in
and
a
I
sexual
think
realm. And
also, I think sometimes it's being taught, and I don't know if you even said this maybe even to the boys. I think you might have, I don't know, because I remember it kind of sticking in my head, but you can tell me if you said it or not, because, we'd take them and we'd have the conversations about sex, what it is,
mhm,
blah, blah, blah. But I think you can push back on this, but I think if you focus on the woman's pleasure, the man will have a much better experience,
mhm,
and the woman will. But when he just focuses on his own pleasure, he's selling himself short, not just her, himself short.
all right,
What would you say to that?
I'm going to lose my bro card on this one. But just from past experience, and a lot of guys I hang around don't talk about their personal lives, especially their sex lives with their wives or anything like that.
Not even with their wives? Oh, you mean they don't talk about it with you?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yes,
not
yeah, I know, yeah.
the
It's
locker
not
room talk with the people I usually
yeah.
associate with. But there have been people in the past, whether it be on a softball team, other jobs I've had, that have talked about it. And a lot of times when they're talking about the sex they have with their girlfriends or whatever, and if they're complaining about it, it's because they'd make comments like, well, she's a pillow, or she just lays there and does nothing, or, stuff like that. Non
Mhm.
participatory things.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking
That
to
is
myself,
probably well, first of all, I think there's some women that do that, and it's just that's their style, and there's nothing
yeah,
wrong with that if but sometimes it might be even just they don't feel they're just trying to let you use their body until
yeah,
it's over.
exactly. Because of whatever program they had put into them, or
Mhm.
this is, I need to just get this done. It's safe, almost on the verge of assault in some
Mhm.
cases.
I mean,
I
yeah,
need to
it's
keep this guy around, so I got to do this. I don't want to do this. So just lay there, let him do his thing, and we're
well, and they
good.
especially have to do it if they he is their, main, breadwinner,
Yeah,
and they are completely dependent on him financially, that's you
yeah.
get yourself
So to even more
in a
answer your
problem there.
question, okay, that'd be like having, what would be the difference between that and having sex with a sex doll? Yeah, there might be a little more warmth and heartbeat, but neither of them are participating in the act. They're just kind of receiving the act, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna
But
complain.
I don't think the woman and I don't think you're saying that, but
No, it's
that's sad because I don't think it's the woman's fault that she's
no, it's
doing
not.
that,
It's 100% not. It's just this has become a one-sided transaction.
where he's just having sex at her, basically,
Yeah, exactly.
on her, in
Yeah,
her,
I need
whatever,
to have
yeah.
sex, and you're here, so we're gonna do this.
And I think he thinks she's my wife if it's in a marriage
Yeah.
in a she's my wife and I can't get it anywhere else because I
Hmm.
can't cheat. So then it's not even because I want you to her. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's you are all I can use this way.
Yeah.
Everybody else is off limits to me. I would go all over the place if I could, but I can't. I have to stick with you because I'm married to you. And that can be a
Yeah.
mind fuck to her too.
Yeah.
And him.
So they'll complain about this story thing, and it's like, well, maybe if you spent a little bit of time focusing on what she needed. And we're not talking about just in the bedroom either, but beforehand, making her feel comfortable, making her feel heard and accepted. That then that would open up, and I think this is a huge key to it. If you can build up that safety and that acceptance and just be that safe place outside of the bedroom,
Mhm.
then it opens up the safe place inside the bedroom where you can
Yeah.
explore and experiment and
Yeah.
try new things
Well,
and be
yeah,
open
she ain't
and
gonna get to
receptive.
experiment phase with you
Yeah,
until you start talking about things and get to, that's gonna be very difficult
yeah,
for a woman who's been programmed with purity culture.
yeah. So,
It's gotta
and
be very safe.
it's just like anything else. If you know there's going to be a prize at the end of it, you're probably going to be more participatory in it. So if a woman
Okay,
knows
but
that
then
there's
this
a
leads to the problem where, remember that one conversation I had with that one guy a long time ago because there was that guy preaching, "Oh, you know, help your wife in the kitchen," like, basically, like, storing up points,
yeah,
so it's like and he's like, No guy ever does anything unless he's thinking he's gonna get sex." I understand that you want sex a lot. I understand that. That doesn't bother me. What would bother me is if you can't help with things around the house, not
yeah,
just do things around that you're not helping, you live here too. You know what I'm saying? Without in your head thinking, "She kinda owes me for this." And
yeah,
that's the thing, that transactional kind of thinking that men tend to
yeah,
do because they've been programmed. I'm not blaming men. I'm not saying men are evil for this. I'm saying they have been programmed to be transactional when it comes to romance, when it comes to sex, when it comes to relationships, that it makes it's a turnoff to women.
hmm,
I don't wanna be a transaction. I don't want everything to be transactional. I want you to be into me. I want you
yeah,
to want to be with me because you like
yeah,
who I am. You
and
like being with me.
it's a mindset thing, and I think it's subtleties that we pick up on. You know how like dogs sniff each other's asses to find to figure out if they're in the mood or not. There's a
Is that what
subtlety
they're
in
doing?
how we interact with each other. So you could sense if I was in a mood of, I'm doing the dishes tonight and I expect you to be in the bedroom 20 minutes later, ready to go. Okay. Right. You could probably sense
Mhm.
that because you're feeling that
Yes,
transactional. But
and I wouldn't like it.
if I was just doing the dishes and be like, hey, I'm doing dishes because I appreciate what she did around here today and she's tired and she needs a little help. And who knows? Maybe it'll work out in my favor later. But
I'm gonna tell you, it never hurts
yeah,
to help.
but the
It
mindset's a
never
little
hurts.
different where it's like, I'm not expecting anything later. I'm not doing this,
No.
I'm doing this, so pay
I'm
me.
doing this because I love her and I
Yeah.
want her to feel seen and loved and cared for.
And that
And
energy
then
gets
she
put
will
off
eventually
differently.
reciprocate at some point. She
Yeah.
will start to open up to you in some way. It may take a while, especially if you've done bad habits for a very long
Yeah.
time and she's got to trust you. First, she's got to believe that this is real change. And it's not real change if you're just doing it outwardly and you're not feeling it inwardly. You don't feel love to her,
Yeah.
like feel very
But
like you love her, you want to keep her in your life, you appreciate her. That will come out, whether it's authentic or
that will
inauthentic,
come out. And then guess what else is going to come out later then for you? Your wiener.
in your own hand.
No, but I think what kind of I realized here in a sec, there's a different energy put out by that. So
Mhm.
when you're doing it as transactional, you have this energy level that you're doing, and that's getting received as that energy level. So now the wife, or even if it's the wife doing dishes for the husband to try to get him in the mood,
Yeah. I mean, that happens.
but that energy of transactional is going on. So what's that mindset going to be for the partner in the bedroom? I have to do this. This is my duty. I'm paying my debt back for the actions that they did in the kitchen earlier.
Mhm. And then you cannot be
That's the
mad if
energy.
that's what if she gives sex back to you in a transactional manner and you did stuff for her in a transactional manner, do not be surprised if she gives it back a transactional.
Yeah.
If she's doing a duty for you, you cannot expect her to not do a duty for you if you were just doing all your things as I'm doing a
Yeah.
duty for her.
Yep.
You know
That's
what I'm
the energy
saying?
put out.
Instead of we love one another, we support one another, we're a team, we work together so that we both have some energy
Yep.
to have that time and that connection. And I will say, like, that type of sex is not as, I mean, a sexual release is a release and it does
Yeah.
help with tension. That's biology. But if you want to feel really connected to your partner, because I know if we go too long in between, we will feel disconnected from each other. And sex solves it. It just solves it. I don't know why. It's just there's a connection that happens because when we're together like that now, we're connecting with each other. It's
Hmm.
not transactional. And so it helps us feel close again, when we're feeling like we've been kind of going our own directions here, got a lot going on. So it is a solution when you're feeling connected already. or when you have this good, healthy relationship already, but you're kind of like drifting a little bit because you're getting busy with your own worlds. You got to bring it back together, connect again, So it
Yeah.
has a very important place in a relationship, I think. But way too much weight is put on it when the relationship is not healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I just feel like sometimes people put so much pressure there. And when you're not in a healthy space, it becomes
Yeah.
very
And
transactional.
it's something that maybe we can conclude on this to kind of wrap it up. Because there was times where we were just swamped with stuff going and energy levels were just depleted. I was working 80, 90 hours a week. You were dealing with kids 24/7. And it didn't matter if it was morning, afternoon, night. We were just like, "Ugh, I don't know if I have
Yeah.
the energy to get through this."
Yeah.
And there was times where you're like, do you want to just schedule it? Saturday nights are our night.
I remember
Or
saying that. Yeah.
and I fought back on that. I go, no, I don't
Mhm.
want to just schedule it because I think the main reason for me, if I were to actually look back and think about it, is because then it became transactional.
Yeah.
It
And
wasn't that connect. It
I
was a
do know that.
duty,
Yeah.
just
Because we
like
knew people who were doing it that way. And I was like,
yeah,
well, let's try it. But I would say, even back up, that the fact we had to have already been deconstructing, because we did not talk about sex when we were Christians. We would have our issues. I remember thinking every night when I would go to bed, maybe he's going to want it. I need to be willing to
you
do
were
it. I'm
sleeping,
so tired.
slipping Nyquil into the mashed potatoes.
No, I didn't do that, but I was always like, I always had to have in the back of my mind, like, it's possible that he's going to want, and now it's just like, I know that, I mean, I don't know if it is so rare that I would turn you down. That's just not something that
Yeah,
we either
fellers.
need. Okay. But I also go to bed, and if I was really tired and I had to say that to you, I mean, you would be okay. I'd be like,
Yeah,
let's try tomorrow morning or something. You know what I'm saying? I would just
yeah.
push it off a little bit because I'm not going to be any, or sometimes like, sure, I'm game. I'll try. I'll start. Once I get warmed up, I might be all right. But it's like I remember those days when it was always like, oh, I hope he doesn't want to, but I don't know. I always had to be willing.
Hmm.
And so that's exhausting,
Hmm.
because you don't get to go, I know I'm going to lay down and go to bed. I have to keep in the back of my mind, if he wants it, I have to be able to give it to him.
You'd be like,
Maybe I'll fall asleep before he gets here and he won't
but
wake me up.
yeah,
Memories.
so I think, yeah, we were fearful that it was going to be transactional if we did start
Hmm.
scheduling it. And it
Yeah.
was like, let's make, let's keep it random, let's keep it fresh. But just know that if it goes for an extended period, hey, guess what? We haven't done for a while.
Hmm.
Probably want to get this, you know, back into the, rotation a little bit. Then our kids are like, no, you don't. No,
Dog,
dog.
bathroom. We'll sleep in bed with you.
Yeah,
That'll stop you.
yeah, we're going to tuck you guys in. And you need to put on more pajamas and everything else. Like,
Come on,
Dad,
mom, put on this parka.
eat this plate of beans before you go to bed. Mom will not want you anywhere near her if you're ripping ass all night long. So, rubbing garlic on my face.
Yeah.
Go to
Here you
bed.
go, Dad. Eat this garlic pie.
So, but yeah, I think the thing, yeah, just the energy levels, like we were talking there, of there's that transactional energy. But then if you're doing it more out of, no, I appreciate what she's done. I want to take a little burden off of her, give her a little time to relax. And
Mhm.
that's out of a different thing. So now you're putting out a completely different energy level. So
Now
then,
you're like working as a team. Like
yeah,
you're feeling like
but
she needs a little it's different, way
yeah,
different.
but just from the energy level point of view, if your wife's going to meet you on that level, then she's going to be like, hey, big boy's looking all right tonight. And, I'm down to clown. So let's,
Maybe. I
yeah.
don't want guys going away
No,
thinking that that's
but
a
that energy, you're
guarantee.
in that energy level where it's this, and there's more of
If you
a,
stay in that,
yeah.
yeah, if you stay in that energy where you are giving to her because you want, especially when the kids are little and she's just
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed, exhausted, like treat, and you know what? find the things that you find beautiful about her.
Yeah.
Tell her those things. Do not neglect telling. We like to be told the things that you like. We don't like disingenuine. We like real. You know what I'm saying? Like keep it real, but tell her the things you love about her. Tell her the
Hmm.
things you love about her personality. The things it doesn't always have to be about the body. When we were first, it was just like, I'm like, am I just a body?
Hmm.
Remember when I used to say that to you all the time? Like, is it just my body? Is that all you care about?
You'd be like,
And you had
if
to
I just cut
learn.
off my ass and my boobs, would you just be happy?
I just lay them there on the pillow. You're like, "For a little while, yeah, I would be."
Yeah, probably.
If you would have said that, done. You knew better. Like, use common sense, guys, come on. And I know, like, we're talking to people who get it
Yeah.
probably or who it resonates with or, because especially if you grew up in Puritan
Yeah.
culture, you
But
understand, like, some of the shit that you
yeah,
have to walk through.
let's kind of wrap this up kind of quickly. I think the point that I wanted to get to and we didn't quite get there is that
What?
there's a lot of psychological blocks that have been put, especially just in cultural in general. There's always
Yeah.
been this stigma on sex and premarital sex and self pleasure and all this stuff. Self pleasure
Mhm.
could take away so many issues in this world if we just didn't
Yeah, that's
shame
true.
kids from taking care of some needs that they might have and having that release.
Well, they
You,
probably wouldn't get pregnant,
yeah. Well, and
you
think
know,
about it. We sitting
when
here
they're
been
not
talking
ready
about,
to.
husbands and wives, get together every now and then and release and let that tension go. But then when the kids are first starting to experience these emotions and feelings, we're like, no, not for another 8, 9, 10 years. Just
Mhm.
hold on to
And then you
this
wanna
and
marry
build
them
it up.
young because they're,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Just build it
they're
up.
going
Build it up.
crazy.
Don't ever
Yeah.
release it. Don't ever release it. It's like,
Mhm.
let them. All right.
I
Here's the
mean,
thing.
yeah.
Just take care of it. Don't worry. So, I mean, that's one wall that can get broken down right away, especially with your kids. If you catch your kid taking care of themselves or find out that they
Hopefully you
have been,
don't, that'd be so
yeah,
humiliating.
for everyone involved.
That
But
would be. God.
if you find out that, okay, just don't make it a giant deal. Just be like, hey, I get it. It's better
Yeah.
that than storing that up and then having uncontrolled, just this extreme pressure built up into you. At least you have some, you're releasing some of that pressure so you can kind of have a
Yeah.
little bit more control over
Well,
yourself.
and then you can go let's say, they're at the age where they're dating and stuff, then they're not being guided around by their dick, basically. You know what I'm saying? They're actually able to think, "Do I like this person?" They're
Yeah.
not just thinking, "Oh, I wanna have sex, I wanna have sex, I can't have sex, I can't have sex." You know
Post
what I'm
nut clarity.
Yeah, yes, where they can think and be like, "All right, let me see. Do I like this girl?" Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know when that started to be, like, shamed. It probably in the 1800s, they used to tell people, like, hair would grow on their hands or stuff like
I
that
think it
if
was the
they
biblical reference. Don't spill your seed on the soil.
well, yeah, they'll use that Bible verse, but that doesn't have anything to do with it. But yes, they will use don't that he spilled his seed. The brother that was supposed to impregnate the
Honestly, it's
dead
probably been
brother's
around
wife.
forever and a day. Because think about it. If you walked in on one of your kids and they're in the corner just whack, 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 there's it's going to be an adverse reaction when you first walked in, right? Like, what are you doing? Ah! So
Yeah.
it probably started with something like that, and then the shame, and just it's
I bet you it came across with religion because I
yeah,
think before they probably been like, yeah, it's no everybody knows that when a boy pulls on his little, when they're little toddlers and they play with it all the time, they're pulling on it. Like it's just a natural thing. It's
yeah.
there. They pull on it. They're exploring it and then they get to a certain age and it starts to feel good. Like everybody knows that that's a thing. Everybody knows that. And so I don't think it would have been so shocking. I think religion came along and said, this is evil now. It's evil and it should only be used for this one. Because you see animals, like animals do things to themselves sometimes.
Yeah,
They're
our
like,
dog's probably
ugh,
doing it right
like
now on the couch upstairs.
she's always licking herself. But it's like, I mean, I don't think there was I think religion brought the shame in of it because
Yeah.
it was
Oh, yeah.
other it's a biological urge, just like hunger and thirst
Hmm.
and, those are just normal nobody shames it that you get hungry, that you get thirsty. Well, you have a sex drive on purpose. Biologically, it causes you to want to reproduce because you need
Hmm.
to reproduce. So I think religion just came in. It was something to control. It's an urge that people have. And so you either shame it, you just try to control it so that
Yeah.
it was a way of controlling people. That's my opinion.
Well, definitely. But that's one of the blocks that got put in was this stigma and shame on self pleasure. But it can be
Yeah.
just a great release at times where it's needed to be taken care of, just because whatever the
Well,
circumstances may
and
be.
yeah, and
Yeah.
now you've got, I think the problem now to me with some of it is that you got
Yeah.
porn
Corn. Yeah.
that it creates a whole, now they're
A whole
trying to get
different thing.
people
Yeah.
like allured into, yeah. And I have problems with that because I don't know if it can be healthy. I don't
It's a
know.
fantasy land, and it's not.
It's not real life,
Yeah.
and it puts people in a yeah, it makes
It,
people not understand how it really
it
works.
raises false expectations and all that sort
Yeah.
of thing. So, yeah, it's not. Anyways, yeah, it's a completely different thing often on
That's a
there,
whole
but
nother subject in and of its own, and I don't really wanna I don't know enough. I'm sure some people that have left Christianity would say there's some I don't know, maybe some of them would say there's some I just don't like it. That's
yeah,
my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think it tries to trap people.
yeah. Well, it's a business like anything else, and
Yeah.
it wants to do what it can to get your money. So,
Yeah.
um, but anyways, back to the blocks, kind of the purpose I want to get to. There's so many blocks in our lives, and we talked about a couple of them. Just getting past the programming of this is all guys want and women don't want it, and they're not supposed to feel the pleasure of it, and it's a duty to them, and this is a need for them, and all these things have been put into people that left religion's minds. And you got to work through all that stuff, and it takes a
Mhm.
lot of time, and it's not something that's going to just be the light switch that clicks off. You got to
No.
work and process through it and understand it, especially if you went through religion for 30, 40 years, because that was 34 years of that being embedded in your mind. You
Mhm.
don't break stuff like that down overnight. It takes
No.
time and substantial time to break through it all, to accept yourself, to understand this is all right, to educate yourself because so much a lack of education that was going on into this because it was so taboo. And just to understand, all right, these are how things work. Or how does this work? Where is the clitoris?
What yeah, what do you even get pleasure I mean, yeah, you have to learn where pleasure comes from for
Yeah.
you, what you specifically what your erogenous zones. These are still things we're working on. Then
Hmm.
we've been together for over 30 years. Married 28 of them. And it's like so like, it takes time working through the stuff. We've been deconstructing for over 14 years, and there's still stuff. So, yes, if you there's a lot of things you gotta work through. You have to be willing to communicate with your partner, whoever that partner is, even if it's a a new one. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? You gotta communicate what you like, what you don't like. You can't not talk about these things. This stuff is so shamed, like, in Christianity, like I said, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
We just there was expectations that we both thought we had or were supposed to have, and, you know and then, yeah, we had times in our life where it was like, "Oh, you're supposed to do it this many times a week," and if we couldn't get in that week, we thought our marriage was, like, falling apart, and it's not falling apart. We're in a rough time. We're busy.
Or
We're overworked and underpaid and
Or if you're at a
exhausted,
funeral,
and
then when you get home, make sure you have some because that's the best way to grieve.
oh, yeah, we saw heard somebody talking about, like, mind-blowing sex after their death. I was just, "Okay." I mean, I'm not gonna knock that if somebody's having that, but let's just not have that expectation that you have to have mind-blowing sex after your loved one
Mom,
dies.
I'm
I
sorry,
mean
but I need you to die so I can have some just earth shattering sex.
and it's just like, "Alright, interesting." But it's it I don't think they taught that in all the classes that we took
No.
for relationships in Christianity. It wasn't like, you need to
Well,
talk about these things. You need to talk about what works for you. Not, they just
yeah.
try to give you formulas. It's all
So
formulaic.
I always take it back to the book we use to teach our kids, The Birds and the Bees Talk.
Yeah.
And the preacher is talking about it and says, well, the man leans over to his wife in bed and says, would you like to have intercourse tonight? And then the wife says, why, yes, I would. Wouldn't mind having intercourse tonight. So then she opens her legs, and then he climbs on top of her and inserts himself into her, and they have
See,
intercourse.
you had a different version. I think I think there was a version for the boys and there was a version for the girls.
You had me listening to it with you.
I did?
Yeah, and I was
I
just
don't
like,
remember that.
this
I must have blocked it out.
is
Sick?
it's just
It's
there's
so
it's
like
sanitized, and there's no emotion or
clinical,
yeah,
almost like
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And it was like, okay, so no wonder and it was the things of, well, can we do this in religious intercourse? Is it all right if I touch this like this, or use this to touch this, or what if I put my mouth here or there?
Oh, God.
Well, we got to talk to
There
Jesus
was
about
no
that.
exploring, let's just say.
Yeah,
And um I wouldn't say that we didn't explore anyways,
yeah.
but
We weren't going to ask Pastor about it.
no, we
So,
weren't probably really
hey,
going to tell
Pastor, is it
anybody.
all right if Candy gives me a little sloppy top, or is that against biblical principles?
Okay, let's move on. This
That's
is so
that's
disturbing.
going to be the
I
opening
can't believe we're
clip.
talking about this in public. Like, go back 15 years, we would have never done what we just did.
That's going to be the opening line to the episode where I put one
Oh,
of our clips in.
God.
Pastor, can
Is that
Candy
what you're
give it?
trying to do now?
I've been doing that for a while. See, Candy
Have you?
never
Oh, I don't
listens.
listen to him. I don't like to go back and listen. Maybe someday I will.
Yeah, someday. Anyways, so yeah, there's a lot of mental walls and stuff that have been programmed into you, and you just got to work through them. And it's all right. It's just like everything else in deconstruction where you were curious and started exploring. This is another realm that can be explored and discovered, and let's let curiosity roam. So,
Mm-hmm.
with
And
that
if you
being,
have a partner that's willing to do that with you, it's a privilege. It is. I will say that we have that privilege.
Candy's still
But
looking
if you
for a
don't,
partner that would like to.
that would like to, so you would not like to. Noted. You know how I'll just pick that one word and I'll be like, got it, buddy. Anyways, but you don't need a partner. You should explore your sexuality regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless, because there are some people that don't have partners.
Yeah.
And aren't going to have partners. And your sexuality is still an important part of who you are, of your existence as a human. So
Yes.
that's all I got to say.
That's all I got to say about that. All right. So if you are listening on YouTube or whatnot, and how done you, go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and follow. We'd appreciate that greatly. If you got a moment, leave us a comment. We love hearing comments. If you're listening on to a podcast streamer, Spotify, Apple, whatever, go ahead and give us 5 stars there. That helps us out greatly. Pushes us and gets us out into the algorithm a little bit more. And if you got a moment, leave us a comment. We love hearing comments on there too. And if you want to find out anything else about us, just go down below in our description. We got a whole bunch of links down there. dannycannon.com is the main one. But there's also a few other ones that are broken out from dannycan.com that get you directly little shortcuts to some of the other stuff that we're doing here. So click on any of that. And with that being said, enjoy Valentine's Day and be curious, explore, understand. But the biggest thing is just cater it to your partner, not what society or Andrew Tate tells you what you need to do. Do what your partner would like to do.
Talk to your partner. Communicate.
And who gives a shit what everyone else thinks? If they enjoy it, you won.
Yeah.
So, all right. With that, we'll see you guys next week. Have a fun weekend. Be safe. Cover up. No more kids. because they're just going to block you when you turn into teenagers, not let you have alone time together with your lovely wife. Little bastards. Bye.
Bye.